My week, the freeze and all the weather absolutely screwed up my work schedule. So I wound up working either from the house or remotely or from my truck. And then we were all at the office, but then nobody had spots. It was a mess. Good work week, um, and all my guys got home safe, so that's a blessing. Um, I I've been kind of shocked by, hey, Wisconsin farm boy, the way these fires develop, because California has fires every year, and they're a bit worse because they're not clearing underbrush, so there's other issues going on. I don't want to get into the politics, even though I love to go down my little political rabbit trails. Hey, Billy. Hey, Winning Streak. What's going on? Loretta. Good evening. Um, the so the original fires, if you look at the map of Cali, right, you have the Pacific. If you're looking at the map, Pacific's to the left, the mountains are to the right, and the rest of the U.S. And the Palisades are right in the hills, right off the beach, north of LA. And that was where the original fires started, which is a common thing. But then they started popping up in absolutely weird places, almost like they ringed the city. Hey, Oops, what's going on? Hey, TD, what's going on? Hello, hello. Hey, Modern Refugee, what's going on? It's always good to see you, my man. Dawn, hello. So what I was struggling with was, okay, the wind is blowing in reverse. This is the Santa Ana, and I've looked into that. That's a legitimate uh, weather pattern, right? Because we all got frozen, right? We had the low front, all the cold. They had a high front, and the way they were shaped, the wind was blowing in reverse. It was almost, think of it, it's kind of like a New England nor'easter. The wind was turning counterclockwise or clockwise, and it was blowing out to sea in that part of the country, and that makes sense. Hey, farm boy. um hey, Moldy, what's going on? But what bothered me is the prevailing winds were blowing out to the Pacific. So if the Hollywood Hills fire, which was the furthest west toward, like, going toward Joshua Tree, hey, Coffee, what's going on, happened first, and the fire and the embers and the hot stuff was blowing across the city, it would make sense that the city would move from east to west. But when you have 60, 70 mile an hour wind going toward the Pacific and the fire is going the other way, it does not make sense. It's absolutely weird. And so I started digging around on X and on TikTok. There's footage of a bunch of civilians grabbing a guy in someone's garage. The person was not home. The neighbors saw the guy pop the garage door open, or they left it open, whatever. He was in there with a freaking handheld torch and combustibles, and apparently had multiple cell phones on him and prepaid cards. And the neighbors went, they called the cops, but the cops are too busy. So the neighbors went, and they're like, get out, get out. The landscaper next door was like telling the neighbors, like, that man is not good. He's trying to make a fire. So the Spanish landscapers and the local people ran after the guy and grabbed his ass. And then he started fighting with them. So they kind of beat his ass a little bit, and they tied him to the shrubs, which I thought was kind of funny. Hey, what's going on, Fang? But hey, Neil. Hey, Bobber, what's going on? Then there's another video, downtown LA, a person in what looks like homeless garb, if you will, like, the typical homeless, trying to set a fire with a propane torch in a trash can next to a tree in one of the little plazas in Malibu. And there's multiple videos now coming up of civilians now checking their security cams. Share a local Cali interview. The woman was like, oh, who are those big strong men? They're here to help. No, and that's the other thing, Rob. I'm going to get to that in a minute. So now people are wondering, are we legitimately under attack? Right? We had the car ramming incident in New Orleans on New Year's Day. Fucking LA is on fire. Like the Palisades, The Malibu Beach is pretty much gone. It's actually, it looks like a nuke went off. I would swear if you just showed me the pictures, I thought it was Hiroshima until I saw like a Tesla all burned up. Thank you, Winning Streak. Hey, Joe, what's going on? So this is super weird. So now there are two trains of thought starting to develop on the internet, and I can't confirm either. This is purely rabbit trail, tinfoil hat shit. One is we're under some kind of attack. Like, this is old school sabotage, like they did back in World War I. Before the war, they would burn railroad bridges and burn, you know, iron factories, and like literally match to wood kind of terrorism where they're just doing sabotage. And something's going to happen here shortly. The other train of thought is the cartels are doing it, which this one is as legitimate as the first in my mind. The cartels are setting the fires, hoping to get people to evacuate, and before the cops get there or the fire gets there, they're breaking into the houses and stealing a fuck ton of things. I mean, there were legitimate large quantities of and yeah, they hid Joe didn't say anything bad, but they hid your comment, Joe. I don't know why. I was trying to unhide it. Thank you for whoever unhid it. Hey, Teresa, what's going on? So how does it to toss a road flare out of a car into the right? Right, and modern, that's the point. They've been in a drought. They had a bunch of rain the last couple of years, so everything grew, and then this year it got dried out. So at first I thought it was stupid people, which is the consensus, right? Someone went camping, dropped, you know, his camp stove fell over, dropped a cigarette, or had ashes in his car and it blew into the grass and fire. But the way they were happening, they were already evacuating the western part of LA, and then fires break out on the east, but the wind is blowing from east to west. It's blowing reverse. So the fires were moving opposite the wind. To me, that really is contradictory. And then it begs the hypothesis, is someone setting these on purpose? And for what goal? What is the end objective? Hey, book club, good to see you. Random dude, hello. I don't know what to make of that. And again, this is all conjecture. All right, I want to qualify that. Oh yeah, it's always something there. Truly, Joe. And Rage, yeah, it is a shit show. It's bad. A lot of people are showing hate. They're like, oh, the rich people got their houses burned down because they voted for Joe Biden, or they voted for Kamala, or they voted for Trump, because people are freaking awful. I'll be honest, all the scenarios that bother me, you know, EMP, flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, industrial fires, whatever, the thing that concerns me the most are moronic, evil people. They will do way more damage to preppers and everyone else in their society than a damn earthquake will. Because if you have an earthquake and everybody's working together, you'll get through it. But you have those idiots, you know, you never know. Hey, John Solis, costing us billions and killing some folks, including terror, because they know. No, and John Solo, that's exactly. Hey, Higgy and Sashi, what's going on? Yeah, there's so many questions. How many failures? In the meantime, the people in North Carolina are in tents in a snowstorm. And we had a rather important substation in Dallas, Fort Worth, caught fire the night before the freeze hit. Right in the middle of it, which made no sense. Fortunately, there were neighbors who were paying attention and saw it, and they immediately called it in. The power company was able to reroute, and the fire trucks were there within 15 minutes, and they really jumped on it. So my applause to the Fort Worth Fire Department guys and the neighbors, the community, really did the right thing. They really stepped up. But yeah, show natural gas lines as well. Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. I really don't. To me, it's just weird because the original fire started on the coast, and then they started popping up to the east, but everyone knew the prevailing wind was coming from east to west. So you have an 80-mile-an-hour wind going out to the Pacific. Why are fires starting in valleys on the east side of the city? And they've caught several people setting fires. And it's all over TikTok and X right now. I don't know what to make of it, y'all. Hey, Cat Lady, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. Hey, Kentucky Survival. Right, exactly. That's my point. If the initial fire was to the east, right, in the Hollywood Hills, and the wind was blowing east to west and blowing embers, and it hit Malibu, the Palisades, downtown LA, okay, that makes 100% sense. The wind is blowing the fire in that direction. But the fire's moving west to east, and 70-mile-an-hour gusts are going from east to west. That makes zero sense. Again, just like Maui, the fucking fire hydrants died. What the hell happened there? People were abandoning their cars on the street, and that's something to learn from, y'all. You need to, I said it on my live stream the other night, you need to set a personal threshold where, like, there's a fire breaks out, say, in this part of Texas. We've got drilling rigs, we've got solar fields, we've got all sorts of shit out here. I'll be like, if that thing gets within a certain perimeter of this house, we're going to start to pack the trucks. We're going to start to pack the cars. We're going to start to lay things out in the foyer. And if need be, pre-pack the vehicle and wait. And then if it's like, oh shit, it's coming our way, we jump in the car, we turn on the sprinklers, and we get GTFO, right? And move. Bobber, I have no idea. Like, for all I know, if someone hacks into the smart meters, may not be the company. It could be like evil hacker, right? We don't know. But so many things about this don't make sense. I don't know what to say about it. It's contradictory to physics, where the fire is moving so quickly opposite this very fast moving wind. There you go. Joe's got his priorities. Hey, Virginia Bushcrafter. Hey, Little Lone Prepper. So, folks, take some lessons from this. Bad players, whether it's a deliberate sabotage, it's a crackhead, it's a pyro, whatever the person is that has the problem or is doing the evil, you could very easily look at something and ignore it, and all of a sudden it's in your backyard. So, hey, Rip Curl, what's going on? Pay attention to how these things develop and look at what the people are doing that are mistakes, right? We've got a lot of people got caught on the road because they waited too long. So just because you're saying, oh, the government hasn't told us to evacuate, screw the government, doesn't know how to run their own budget. You ask yourself, at what point do I say, I'm not comfortable with this, this kind of sucks? If you lived in Malibu and you have a friend in Texas, say me, and you're there and you're like, there's a fire and it's kind of spreading weird, I'd start calling my friends out of state. Hey, we may have to bail. Can we camp out at your house while I wait for a hotel? I might even make a hotel reservation and say, you know what? That fire is moving this way. Screw it. We're out. Pack our shit, pack our valuables, whatever we can't replace, get the pets, the kids, whatever, throw them in the cars, pack up, gone. You come back and the house is still there, great. If you come back, there's no house, guess what? You were not there. Great. I would, before you leave, though, take some video and photos of the house condition the day you left, as well as any valuable possessions you just couldn't take with you because they were too big or bolted down or whatever. Take pictures and then get out. But have that plan. Say, you know what? We're going to Phoenix. And you drive to Phoenix, or you go to Vegas or wherever. You go somewhere else where there's no danger. I think a lot of folks were waiting for the government to tell them when to go. And by the time the government wheels, and that's assuming everyone's doing their job and they mean well, by the time the government wheels turn in a way to give you notification, you're screwed. Like, now you and 500,000 other people are all on the same highway. So what happens during the hurricanes? So, don't give them any ideas, Rob. Yes, Teresa, proof of insurance is very important. Hard copies of your insurance, if you keep them on the cloud, that's great. Snapshots on your phone are great. But also hard copies if you can. Like I said, I have a bug out book. I have a personal paper book. We have binders and they're zipped up. They're like the old Trapper Keepers for those of you who are Gen X and up. They have zippers and pockets and everything. We got all our shit and it's in a fireproof gun safe. So we've got to go. I'm opening the safe. We're taking those out, taking the emergency cash, taking firearms, whatever we think we need, locking the safe up, and we're gone. And we've done it before. We do a lot of road trips, so we're really good at packing very quickly. So I am showing my age, but it's true. They look just like a Trapper Keeper, but it's not fun. They're not fun like they had, you know, ours had colors and shit. These are just like, here's your symbolic gray folder, loose leaf binder thing. But feed that showed some interesting anomalies during the fire. Oh, John, that's interesting. I will go look for that later. Hey, tactical prepper keeper. But they're already packed. They're already ready. I do have to, sometimes I forget to update the paperwork, but that's fine. You know, like if you have, hypothetically, you have State Farm insurance, right? And you have last year's paperwork and you got this year's and you forgot to keep a copy, the numbers aren't going to change, right? The 1-800 number is going to be the same. The policy number will be the same. I do things even to the point every month I charge all the jackeries and I charge my drones. So if I have to throw a drone in my truck and take off and maybe take footage of what's going on, I can do that. Hey, Knight who says knee. I'm just talking about the weirdness and the mistakes people made during the fires in Cali. Like, I think they waited way too long, the people did, to start leaving because they were waiting on a government that didn't know what to do because they were losing power and the water was dying. And the wheels of government, by the time they turn in that kind of emergency, you wind up in a lot of trouble. Hey, Gen X Gemini, how are you? So, folks, watch what's going on. Fortunately, the loss of life could have been way, way worse. I know their numbers will go up, but it's not as bad as it could have been. But I encourage all of you to watch what they're doing and say to yourself, what mistakes are these folks making? Would I have already been gone? Because the fact that they had to get a construction bulldozer to bulldoze cars off of the road so the fire trucks could respond means that people got stuck on the road, someone ran out of gas, all the things we say not to do, right? Ran out of gas, got lost, broke down, didn't know where they were going and had an accident. They waited until the panic set in. Y'all, if I need to leave my part of Texas, I want to be gone long before the panic sets in, or I'm going to be hunkered down pretending we don't exist. You know, we're going to be the don't see me house. We're just going to be this plain Jane thing in my area. Yes, and John, that's a true point. A lot of fire is Tifa is carrying out Biden's order. We talked about that a little earlier. I actually am wondering if it's the cartels so they could rob places, but then that would backfire too, because what if the cartel's like, oh, we're going to set fire and rob the rich people, and then the fire moves too fast? Well, now they screwed up. Now they're like, well, now we can't loot because the house is on fire. We didn't get there fast enough. They caught multiple people. If you look on X, aka Twitter, and you look on TikTok, they've had a lot of videos of civilians grabbing guys out of other people's homes, out of parking lots. As a matter of fact, they said the fire, not the Hollywood Hills, not the Palisades, one of the fires to the east did not start in the grass like they thought. It started in a parking lot. Someone set fire to a fucking car. And the LAPD posted that earlier today. So I think there's something going on. I don't know if it's like you had said, Antifa's. I don't know if it's sabotage. I don't know if it's a massive pyro attack. I don't know if it's terrorism. But you look at how folks are acting, they don't know what to do. They're sitting there kind of in limbo until they're forced to do something, and then they're doing it in a panic. and under stress, instead of saying, you know what, this fire's headed this way, let's pack now. The worst that happens, you just unpack, right? Oh, the fire got put out, yes. You could put your shit back in your house. I'd pre-pack. I'd be like, let's fill up the tanks. And then there was an earthquake in San Francisco today. I don't know if you guys knew that. I don't know what magnitude it was, but yeah. Chessboard, I would agree. I would agree. That guy's a piece of work. He actually told a lady on a interview someone streamed that something like, I'm sorry, I wish I could help you, but we got to take care of the state. You don't matter, or something like that. I don't know how he meant it, but the way it came out was terrible. It just sounded so bad due to all the smoke in the air. I'd believe that. I've had that happen. You smell something while you're sleeping and it's like 3.5. Okay. Hey, Metal for breakfast, good to see you. So folks, watch this, learn from it. What would you do if you're going to stay in place? What do you need to stay in place? If you got to leave, what would you need to leave? Ask yourselves these questions now. Have that conversation with your husband or wife now while it's on the news. Even if they're not preppers, you should point to the news and say, we need to talk about what if this happens? Or what if we have to evacuate? How are we going to do it? Where are we going to go? What are we going to bring? So that you're not panicking at 2 a.m. with a fire about to hit your house and the fire department's like, you need to leave now. Like, don't take anything. And now you haven't had the chance to stage anything or think anything through. So Joe's got his priorities. Just go to Vegas, man. Take her, go to Vegas. You'll have a blast. But anyway, folks. So look, folks, you guys be good, be safe out there. Try to learn from what we're seeing. Try to understand how things are going down, what mistakes the government's making, the mistakes the people are making, and ask yourself, if I had to evacuate for whatever local issue might happen, flood, hurricane, tornado, aliens, etc. You know, EMPs are very sexy to prep for, but you're way more likely to have a fire or a lightning strike or a flood than a damn EMP. But they can't find water to deal with fire. Yeah, DT, I don't know. I could conjecture that the power's going out because the fire's taking out the power lines. Ergo, they're losing pump power, which would make sense. But why did they not plan for that? They didn't have generator backups, thinking, wow, we have wildfires here all the time. We should have backups. It's either someone has sabotaged us or someone is incompetent. But learn from this, and now you can see the failures of the local responder, the government, really. The responders are doing a phenomenal job, but they can't put out a fire without freaking water and helicopters. So take the time to study this and learn from it. So if, God forbid, y'all have to leave your house or you have to hunker down really quick, you kind of have a game plan in place. Anyway, you guys be good, be safe out there. Please be careful. Have a great weekend. And y'all stay blessed. I will see you all hopefully next week. Take care of yourselves.